a universal health care bill, the same one that we've been working on for forever. And I'm just so grateful for Rep. McCormick's leadership, for Virginia, for so many people. This coalition is so strong and it's working. We're getting through it. So, um, really excited about it. Update, we're going to get through appropriations. We did get the fiscal note to be revised, and the fiscal note is now zero. So we will still be routing through appropriations, but with a $0 fiscal note, that looks very promising. So I would say we may be getting the tougher chamber out of the way and heading it on to the House, and where it will be in great hands with Rep. McCormick and Rep. Basenecker. So just really excited about that. We'll be working with Senator Amabile to get that, through appropriations. But again, with the $0 appropriation, it's looking really good. So very, very excited about that. I'm going to pull up my others. I'm working on a bill that is going to make core credits more easily, like you understand if you're going to a community college, what this credit means at a different institution in Colorado. So a higher ed bill. And then another higher ed bill I'm running is the Autism Society brought it to me. It's that when students go from high school to college, they are often required to go get a new autism test. Even though their autism hasn't changed, maybe the diagnosis hasn't changed, they're still required to get one. And unfortunately, we have a 6 to 9 month wait list, and there's sometimes $3,000 to $4,000. So just in the interest of trying to remove barriers for our students, working on trying to just allow them. So not that they would take the IEP in 504 and implement it in the college, but just that it would act as a pass to say, I have a disability and don't need to go get screened again. Let's see. We similarly, years ago, Colorado's great with when it comes to workforce. We often use compacts to set agreements with other states for improving our workforce. And I've run a teacher compact and school psychologists and social workers. We made a compact years ago, 20 years ago, that was for military connected families. So those are people like me, military brats who were raised on and off Air Force bases, but my dad would get orders and we'd move every 2 or 3 years. As you can imagine, this type of a lifestyle is actually it's a little hard for families, and so years ago we put in place a compact that says we're going to allow what's called advanced enrollment. Usually you got to show up with your paperwork to get into school, but we know families get their orders and need to have things lined up for their kiddos. And so this was put in place. Every state has now, we were one of the first states to adopt it in 2008. Every state has now adopted it. One of the provisions of that compact says that students on IEPs and 504s, again, our special ed kiddos, should at least, if nothing else, if they can't have a new plan in place, at least their IEP and 504 from the public school they came from should be used for the short term until the testing in the new district can happen. In Colorado, if you call to enroll your kids, let's say you have 3 kids and you're in the military, they will enroll your two who might be general ed. But if you have a student on an IEP or a 504, they say we're going to have to wait till you get here. So there is a bill out in the works to try to correct this, but I'm wondering, I'm trying to have conversations with the Department of Education to maybe we don't need legislation. Maybe they could just, do the compact. So that's a bill that's out there. I'm running kind of a fun bill for Stranahan's. I don't drink, but Stranahan's is it whiskey? I'm not sure. And they want to have multiple tasting rooms. And so I'm working on trying to do that in a way that is fair to when you jump into liquor bills. As Senator Amaley, I'm sure, told you, it gets a little sticky. So, but this is just an intending to make it easier for our craft distillers. We have so many of them here in our neck of the woods to have an easier time to expand their tasting rooms. Um, I'm just going to end with a couple of fun bills. I am the chair of the Colorado Youth Advisory Commission, and they brought us some really great bills. And one of them passed out of the Senate and is heading to the House just today, and it's called the Youth Involvement in Environmental Justice. And what the students asked was just to have a seat at the table. We have a commission on environmental justice, and just to have a seat at the table to be able to represent their voices and be decision makers. So we've added one seat, a voting member, 14 to 21, who's going to be able to join. And then the last bill I'm just going to talk about is one of my favorite interim committees, and it's the one that Rep. McCormick is the chair of, and that's the Ag and Natural Resources. I'm probably saying it wrong. Ag and Natural Water, you know what it is. It's the Water, Ag, Natural Resources Committee. And out of that, I've gotten to see a lot of great areas in Colorado. And one of the things that we work on is a thing called a habitat stamp. Hunters are able to buy it. And what this does is, well, it's hunters and fishers. What it does is the money collected goes to benefit wildlife habitat or access to wildlife habitat. So I got to see a really cool, the newest one of these in Fairplay over the summer. Um, so it's a conservation bill. Sherry, I am so sorry I didn't call on you. I've seen your hand. And I apologize too that I don't have my camera on. I got home and I got immediately into like my loungewear. So I am sorry that I am off camera today, but I can see your faces and I just appreciate you allowing me to be here. So
Oh,
Sherry,
hi.
what's
I
your
just raised
question?
my hand because I didn't get called on last time, so I just raised it early. I wasn't expecting to you to pivot over to me, so I
Oh,
appreciate that recognition
no.
now. And thank you for the question. Thank you very much for your for being here. You all sound so tired. We can hear it in your voices, and so
Oh.
it's just the beginning. So thank you for fighting the good fight for all of us and for all people in Colorado and really beyond that. So my question to you. Is about the Senate Ethics Committee investigation regarding
Mm-hmm.
probably the majority of people on this call's um, senator, uh, Senator,
Mm-hmm.
the senator from District 17, Senator Jaquez Lewis, who's not on this call and hasn't been showing up at things, about the uh, complaints filed by, I think it's five of her former employees
Mm-hmm.
around ethics and also some issues around misuse of campaign, misreporting or not following the campaign finance reporting laws. So I'm really happy that there is
Mm-hmm.
this investigation because I feel like we need to hold ourselves and our representatives accountable, especially now that further up the chain, Trump and his cronies, there's not a lot we can do to hold them accountable, but we can do it here. So I'm just wondering if you can, give us an update on what's happening with that and how we might know what's happening with that and any timelines if you have any of that information. So
I do
thank
have
you.
a little of that information, and I appreciate the question. Before I get into that, I just want to say that even though I'm not on camera, I and all of the representatives on here are happy to field your calls, your questions. I will put my email and my phone number in the chat before I get off of here so that you have it. But just want you to know we are here. We're ready to support you. SD17 has representation. So just wanted to say that. There have been two committee meetings so far. The first was just kind of a brief meeting. The second was this week. Gosh, it was the fourth. Was that just yesterday? It feels like. Yes, it was yesterday. And Sherry, I will say that you can go onto the website of the Colorado General Assembly and you can look up committees. And if you go all the way to the bottom, like there's like House and Senate and all of these, if you go all the way to the bottom, it says other. And there's a Senate Ethics Committee link. And from that link, you can follow what's going on. I was able to listen on my way home. I know it's a long drive, but I wanted to know what's going on too. And I had a meeting at that time. And so I listened to it on the way home, and they're in the process. They've got 20 pieces of evidence. I'm not going to say evidence, 20 pieces of documentation that have passed through the gates of confidentiality with HR. The people who have placed the complaints signed waivers, either fully or partially for confidentiality. So they've got three gates they have to go through. It's HR, it's OLLS, and then there's one other, oh, Senate Rule 43A. Anyway, they look through all this and they get the documents. So they've got 20 in front of them, 17 left to process. And yesterday, my friends, they asked for so much more data. And so I can tell you the intention is to move quickly, but we are moving at the speed of the process. And so that's kind of that piece. I'm not sure when they meet again. Oh, Senator Mobley has her hand up, probably about this. So I'll just stop there, but I just wanted to make sure you know where to find the information. The intention is certainly to move just as quickly as we can with this, but even once all of this work is done, there's like a 30-day period of a waiting period. And I don't want to misspeak the ethics committee. We actually have got a lot of experience in it this past year as a Senate, but there's kind of a long process because I do believe the senator has requested a hearing, whereas the other Senate ethics investigation did not have the full hearing. So this could be witnesses. Our committee members are empowered to subpoena people. There's a lot to that. But again, the intention is to move quickly. So I'm going to pass to Senator Amabile while I put my information in the chat, and then I'll come back and finish my 15 minutes.
Okay, and I just did want to also thank you for reaching out to us because, as I understand it, well, that she's wasn't able to hire state-funded aides because of, because of these issues, and so it's basically taking all of the session, and I have felt, flying that we're really not having quality representation in SD17. So I appreciate you availing yourself to that. And I had one more question, maybe Senator Amabile can take it about NDAs. She was one of the few, very, very few people ask employees to sign NDAs. And so if people signed NDAs, were they still able to submit complaints or will they be able to testify in front of the committee? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer that one. Yes, they will. NDAs, a law, we passed a law last year, 2 years ago, that made NDAs basically you can't have them. I guess it used to be a practice. I'm new to the Senate, so I'm gonna let Senator Mobley say that or not. But yes, NDAs are have no place, but those folks will be able to testify and share everything. So yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Janice, I didn't mean to jump into your time. I just wanted to say that I'm committed to making sure that we are held to the highest standard as elected representatives. We actually have an extra burden of doing the right thing, of behaving in an ethical way, and of treating people with the utmost respect. And that is a value that I hold very close. And I know everybody else on this call does too. And we have these young people who are super ideological and they're so excited to get a job working in the Capitol, working for a legislator. And we have a massive power imbalance. And we have to do everything we can to make sure that we provide a quality work experience for these young people. And I'm committed to that. And on the NDA thing, I would just say, I don't know of anybody else who asked anybody to sign an NDA. I find that really curious and disturbing. But I don't want to take up any more of Janice's time. I just wanted to add that little bit of uh, what my view of this is. We have got to make sure that we are doing the best we can do as legislators and that we are holding ourselves to the highest standard.
I just really appreciate this input from both of you, Senator Amabile and Senator Marchman. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for the questions. It's not terribly fun, but I'm with Senator Amabile. When I got elected, I knew that, this is how it goes. We have to be better. We are a model. I'm also a teacher. And so, people are watching. It's really important that we do what we can. So, thank you for that question.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you both. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Senator Marchman. I didn't realize that committee was at the bottom of all that list of committees, and that you can actually go on and listen to it.
It
You
kind of
can go
speaks to
on
the
and
transparency, which is really great.
Yeah.
yes, it is. And the good thing, and I haven't checked since I got home, but it sounds last time through the link, you're able to go and see the documents. So I could hear them talking about the documents. Last time we were able to go and see the documents. And I think part of their three-way like gatekeeping processing is to actually redact what needs to be redacted and provide something that is that meets all confidentiality. So I'm curious if we can click on any of it. But yes, by all means, watch that schedule. And then you can watch all that stuff.
Okay, thank you, Senator Marchman. And I'm afraid we have to end your time. Thank you so much for being here.